Ivy the Kiwi Wii Review. Introduction. You will not hear me say this very often. Ivy the Kiwi is an adorable game with a cute main character trying to find her mother. And I kind of like it. If one were to hear cute, adorable, and mother in a sentence, he or she would think this game is for very young children. Am I off my rocker, getting soft, or is there something else hidden under this charming exterior? Gameplay and controls. Ivy is a young bird who is on a search for her mother. Your job is to help her. However, you cannot control her, as she is constantly running. Instead, in a godlike role, you interact with Ivy's world in two major ways. First, you will draw vines, holding the A button and using the Wii remote pointer to guide her over pitfalls, spikes, and other dangerous creatures. The vines can be used for her to walk over chasms, swing over objects, or provide protection from enemies. Along with the vines, you also have the ability to shoot Ivy off the vines using the B button. If Ivy is walking along a strip of vine, you can slingshot her to higher platforms or into enemies. In fact, when Ivy hits an enemy after being shot, she will destroy them. Also, she will destroy certain objects or blocks that are in her way. Each stage is set up in a basic side-scrolling level. You can explore, backtrack, or even get lost. Still, your goal is to always make it to the end. At the end of each stage is a winner's podium. The higher you get Ivy to land, the more points you will gain. Along the path, you can collect red feathers. For every 10 feathers you collect, you will gain 1 extra life. Occasionally, you will also find star cookies, which will make Ivy temporarily invincible. The controls are almost spot on. The developers kept it simple, using the Wii remote only. As stated earlier, you can use the A button to draw vines, the B button to pull vines, and the pointer to, well, point. There are times, though, you might have issues with vines overlapping and not being able to point the right vine you want. Sometimes Ivy will even go in directions you don't anticipate. These are usually small issues that will not hinder the gameplay in significant ways, but they are issues nonetheless. The difficulty level is almost perfect. While Ivy the Kiwi is not an incredibly difficult game, you will notice that every stage gets harder and harder, and for the hardcore, they might even be able to breeze through the game pretty quickly, but others will take a while to master. For reference, I completed all 50 stages of the main game in under 3 hours, and the first time I saw a game over screen was on stage 9 forward. Bonus stages and multiplayer. For those feeling adventurous, there are other modes included. If you complete the entire game, you will unlock bonus stages. These are another 50 stages that ramp up the difficulty even more. The gameplay, however, takes a bit of a turn. Instead of simply making it from beginning to the end, you must now find a key first. If you're feeling up for a different challenge, you and up to 3 friends can compete. In a race to the finish, you will be able to help your character or draw vines on the other screens to hinder their progress. This can be crazy depending on who you have with you. Visuals and sound. Set in a storybook, there is an amazing feeling of continuity. From the visuals, to the music, to the small cutscenes, you really get this feeling that you are reading a children's book. The visuals take a cel-shaded approach with incredible shadows that soften the entire screen. The outside edge of the screen even looks like a worn-out book. Backgrounds are brilliant, hand-drawn worlds. The entire game looks as if it were drawn from colored pencils and crayons. The music and sound are also fantastic. They're lighthearted and appropriate at times, and engaging at other times. The only thing is that the same music seems to play throughout the entire level. So instead of each stage having its own song, each level, which is a set of 5 stages, gets its own music. At certain levels that take longer to complete, this can get annoying to listen to the same song over and over again. Concluding overall impressions. This is a fun and beautiful game. It reminds me of the children's book Are You My Mother, combined with games like Lemmings or Maestro Jump In. On top of that, the controls are great and it can be fun in the right group with multiplayer. The difficulty level is not extremely hard, but it will challenge players, especially in later levels. My final score? Buy it. If you're a fan of games like Lemmings, Maestro Jump In, or even Bit Trip Runner, Ivy the Kiwi should also find its place on your shelf. At a budget price, this is a great buy for both the younger audiences and those young at heart.